Hey everyone, I went for my swim and I did more reading on the 21 most powerful minutes in a leader's day. So he's divided this into weeks. So now I'm on week 4, and it's basically this week looking at anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. So he's using Old Testament scriptures to look at how the leaders planned and executed their plans for whatever they wanted to do. And I think that's easier when things are in your favor, when you're not facing systemic injustice, racism, all the things that I have had to face, because you encounter many obstacles along the way. But we know that God is always with us, and we know that we can make our plans and we can adjust as we go along with our plans. So he's covering here how Nehemiah had made his plans, and he also went through periods of weeping, mourning, fasting, and praying in building this wall that he wanted to build, and how the wall got broken down by the enemies, by people who came against them. And leaders have to be able to see further than others. So remember when South Africa took the Israel to court, to the International Court of Justice. Some were for it, some were against. But then the October 7th attacks changed things. So it is a political disagreement that's taking place there. But this decision now that's come with the ICJ ruling in favor of Palestine is going to have a big impact. Already nations are turning against Israel. Spain, Ireland, other countries in Europe, they're turning against Israel because there are mass killings of civilians. And it's very heartbreaking to watch that. It's very, very hard. And the news that's coming out of Palestine is also very hard. So people can say, oh, what's it got to do with me? I'm living in Canada. But the same way that they took DDT and they sprayed it on our crops in Africa, and they told all of us it was okay to use. We used to use it. We had a big backyard. My grandmother used to use that DDT on our crops to kill the bugs and the vermifuge. So we used to use it, and then we used to wash the crops and eat them. Now all of that, they continued doing it, and they said, oh no, it's okay for the third world countries, for sub-Saharan Africa, for Brazil and all these places. But what has happened is that all of those crops, we stopped using it years ago in Zimbabwe. Soon after independence, the news came out that they're not using it in America. So even though they didn't ban it, we stopped using it, and people stopped using it because they're like, well, if they're not using it there, why should we use it here? And what happened is they continued to use it in some places in the world, and that food was being imported, sent out of the country, exported to America and Canada and all those places. And if you see now, there's a lot of people that have cancer. And it's, how come so many people are getting cancer? Like every second, third person is getting cancer. It's from the poisons that they used on the foods. And all that poison, all that evil that they did, saying, oh, it's those poor people, they can have it, it's all gone back into them. Not only into their countries, but into their systems, and it's destroying them. So we can never say that, oh, it's okay to hurt somebody and it won't come back on us, because it will. And make a joke out of somebody's life or treat somebody's life like mine was treated, like it's a joke. Like it's okay to say to the police that I'm obsessed and fixated with my sister when I'm not. Or to joke with the police. You don't joke with the police. You don't say things like that to the police. Everything is taken seriously. And it's the same way, like I was made godmother to my sister's daughter. So obviously I tried to guide them. I tried to tell them this is what you should do, or this is what you should think about. Any sister would do it. Any loving sister would do it who missed their sister, who missed their niece and nephew. That's what I did. and I was told to keep out of it. So every time I wanted to go, when my cousins came from India or Dubai or anywhere, I was told no, not to come. So I got sick of it, because it's like, if you don't want a loving person in your life, if you don't want somebody to be there at your gatherings and all that, I'm tired of being hurt. And you ask God, why did you place me in that family that doesn't care whether I'm included or not, that family that will go every year to spend time with other people, but they won't even come and pay me one visit. Because I made the effort. I tried to guide them, and I tried to, even when it was religious occasions, encouraged my niece and nephew to pray, to remember God. And I was told to keep out of it by my mother. So why make me godmother then, if you want me to keep out of it? And why always defend my mother for what she's saying? If you can't be there for your own family and you don't care, then what is the point? If when my cousin lost her place, when she had bought a nice place, I told her, I said, Danny, I wish I had the money to give you so you could keep your place. If you can't do it for your own daughters and your own nieces and cousins, then who are you going to do it for? Because that's what should come first. If you don't care that your family is not going to have property, they're not going to have a place to live, they're not going to have a job, then what is the purpose? What is the point? It's the same way when my mother told me that, I was getting so much abuse and we went through such a hard time at Plaza. I said to her, you know what, Mom, you're telling me now. She told me now, 2-3 years ago. She said, we went through such a hard time with them. I said, then why didn't you leave? Don't take it out on me. I said, if you went through such a hard time, there were other shops there were other employers, why didn't you leave them? Because they also looked after you. They gave you food, they gave you bread, they helped you when you needed it. So if you're only going to focus on the bad things, then I can't deal with that, because it's really not my problem. They employed you. It's the same when I work at the call center. It's a job. It might not be an ideal job considering my qualifications and experience and what I'm capable of earning, but I do it because I can't get anything else. I tell them now, because I also get tired of it. They make like I'm doing it to hurt them, or I'm telling them something because I don't like them. Where is that love for me? Where is that love to say, thank you for bringing Mom to Canada. For this Christmas, we're gonna make Belinda a priority. It's never been there, ever. So it hurts when your own family do that to you. It hurts very much. And they tell you that, oh no, you're not important. We are doing our thing. You go and do what you want. After you made all the sacrifices, you did everything right. You tried to guide their children. You were there for them. And then people turn around and tell you, get on with your life. It's not very loving. But that's what happens in life. And sometimes there's nothing you can do, because the more you tell them, the more they make a joke out of it. And it's not a joke. For me, it's not a joke for people to say that to the police, or to tell me that, they made all the arrangements for my dad to go and have his heart surgery in South Africa. It hurt me. I don't want to know, because I was still a little girl, and whatever happened to my dad, it's not my fault. So don't take it out on me. And don't do what you did to my dad. I want to make my own decisions. Even with my mother, she listens to people who tell her, drink alcohol, have chocolates, it doesn't matter if you're diabetic. She listens to them, and she gives them all the respect. And I just got tired of it. It's like, you know what you're doing. You putting all that into your body, all that poison, which is going to lead to you going blind and lead to you having more health problems, but you're still doing it. Because that's what happens. So it's very, very difficult when you are trying to hold on to your Christian values and it's other people in the family that are coming against you. It's very, very hard. And I did everything I could to keep my property. I did everything I could to hold on to my jobs, to keep my contracts. But there was too much interference from the outside with Eric calling and Anita calling and calls being put through. And they were not only hurting me, they were hurting my employers. That's why the easiest thing for the employers to do was to get rid of me. And then I landed up without a job. Not because I did anything wrong, not because my work wasn't good, not because I didn't deliver what I should have. My work was excellent. I did better than everybody at HSBC, at CIBC, at all the places I worked, at BMO. It was because of them, because of Credit Suisse and all these family getting together and putting the calls through. And they were hurting people. And I told my mother, tell them to stop. Stop calling the places I work. Stop calling the security guards. Okay, I'll tell them. Did they stop? No, they didn't. When I went to do that psychiatric assessment, I didn't do it to protect them. I did it for me because I didn't want to go to jail. I was shocked when they told me. I don't protect anybody from anything. I did it for me because of how I was treated and how I was blindsided and how I was followed. And my brother and I wanted that assessment to come back clear. But because other people wouldn't tell the truth, I got classified as delusional. And I had to wait for at least 3 years, and my doctor said, you don't have to go back now to have another assessment done. He said, I'll talk to Sunnybrook, you're fine. So, I have to go through so much because of other people and land up broke and land up losing my jobs, losing my home, losing everything because other people don't do what's right. So that's how it goes. Sometimes I sit and I cry when I think of how people have treated me. I weep. I also fast. I also pray. I do the things that the leaders did in the Bible as well. I follow the way. Because if you can't see further than tomorrow, you can't see further than a year, you're only doing yourself a disservice. Because what's happening to the Palestinians is exactly what used to happen to us. The war was civil. It was in the street. There was bombings in Harare, at the hotels, at the bridges got bombed. Used to see dead people on the street, bodies blown up. As children, we saw it all. So all the evil that they do now, there's all these, the waste from all the ammunition and all that, all of the nuclear things that they're doing, all that's going into the water. And who is it going to affect? The whole world. The ecosystems are not barricaded. They don't only go into one place, they go all over the world. So if people don't want to listen, they don't want to listen. There's nothing that I can do, but I can tell people what happened to me, and I can speak up and use my voice. Because leaders, as we see more than others, we also see before others see. And we know that we have a responsibility to speak up. Because if you don't speak up now, then once your nieces and nephews grow up, your children grow up, they are going to be the ones who suffer. Just like I am suffering now because of what other people did. Because of other people, my life got destroyed. Because of other people, I lost opportunities. Because of other people, I had to go and get a psychiatric assessment. Even when I said no, even when I told the police I don't want to do it, they said, we're going to come and get you if you don't do it. It was completely unfair. Completely unfair. There are people that go, if you read Federer's book, Mirka, his wife, when she wanted to get into tennis, her dad bought a pair of diamond earrings and he took them to the tennis court for the person he wanted to meet to get her into tennis. That's how people do things. I didn't do anything wrong. A box of chocolates is not like a cufflink diamond. It's just a box of chocolates. If you don't want it, return it. Call the person and say, tell Ms. Fernandez to come and pick up a box of chocolates. Mr. Charbonneau and the team do not accept them. Don't go and take legal action on them and hurt them and make them go for psychiatric assessments and have them tracked and followed all over the world. Don't do that to a woman, especially a woman like me who has come from a poor family, who has worked and studied and made herself come up in life, not only in Canada, but in England, in South Africa, that represents not only your country as a Canadian, but also represents South Africa and represents Zimbabwe. Don't do that to someone, because it's not right. It's not right and it's not good. It hurts me. It hurts me very much what's been done to me. I have no relationship with my niece or my nephew. I was not included for any celebrations, any parties, nothing. Everybody else enjoyed themselves and I was left out. Even if somebody is poor and your relative is poor, why don't you include them? We included everybody when we were growing up. We invited everybody in the family to our gatherings. Even Uncle Paul. We had one uncle, he couldn't hold a job. And my grandfather tried to set him up with a business. But he just couldn't handle it. And he used to just be in the house and he used to stay at home. We always included him. We used to say, Uncle Paul, come join us, come to the party. If he was up to it, he would come. If he wasn't up to it, we left him. But nobody was excluded. Nobody was told, oh, no, don't come, don't join the party. Everybody was respected and everybody was included, and that's the Christian way. Nobody was told, I hope you don't get a job, I hope you stay sick, I hope you lose your home. Nobody was talked to like that. But that's what the messages I get. And it's not a joke to me. It's not a joke. It's time people started taking things seriously. When I left Credit Suisse, everybody cried. So what they did to me was completely wrong. It was completely unjustified. Because I had very good relationships with the people I worked with. They didn't have an opportunity for me. So why did they turn around and do all this rubbish to me? It's not fair. And for me, as an executive assistant, I don't want that kind of impression being created of me. Because I am an executive assistant. And that's my forte. That's where I shine, working with the executives, running the office, running the administration. I can do many things, yes, but we all have areas that are our strengths. And that was and that is my strength. And if they don't have the opportunities here to pay me well, they should help me to get something in England. Because my master's degree, the skills, the talents I have will be very well respected and very well paid for in England. And I won't have to work 24/7 like here. I will get a 9-to-5 job that pays me well, where I can buy a home, where I can be respected, and I can be treated well. And I deserve it. I didn't do anything to deserve what's happened to me in Canada. Nothing. Not a damn thing.